This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social, and I'm delighted to be joined by promoter Frank Warren. Frank, it's been a while, so how you been keeping?
I'm doing fine. What about yourself?
I'm all good, thanks. Good to hear you doing well. Now, obviously, I was coming down from Birmingham on the train under the assumption that it was going to be the undercard press conference for Saturday night. It's obviously been, not the show being pulled, but Daniel Dubois' opponent, he's had issues with his visa. What clarification can you offer with Richard Lartey?
I won't know until 5 o'clock this evening because we've got the Home Office here speaking to the embassy in Accra, Ghana, trying to resolve this. If we can't resolve it, we are trying to all simultaneously find another opponent, but if we can't resolve it, we will make an announcement early evening.
Could it still be possible for that fight to go ahead then?
Well, if he gets his visa and he gets here, then it'll be on. If he doesn't get his visa, then he won't. It's very unsatisfactory. I'm really pissed off. I'm pissed off for the fans, for Daniel, that we're in this position. His team apparently all got their visas, but for whatever reason it was, he was not back.
Who exactly have you guys got in mind if Richard can't fight on Saturday night?
We're looking at a few at the moment, and I've got 2 matchmakers working on it, and we'll see what they come back with. It's very difficult to go and find somebody at 3 days' notice. It's not going to be easy.
I was going to say, having looked over social media, the reaction to it obviously it's not been great. Do you make it a bit more difficult for you guys knowing that if it isn't Richard on Saturday night, it'll be somebody who everybody's just going to expect Daniel to walk over and effectively just be this journeyman?
I don't know it's going to be. It's who's available. You're asking me a question that's unanswerable at the moment. You can't bring anybody in from the States. There's certain parts of the world you can't bring them into because they won't be able to conform with the British Boxing Board of Control regulations regarding medicals. They're going to have to be currently licensed, all sorts of implications. So they're working it, see who's around. That's if anybody is around. And as I say, until we know where we are at 5 o'clock, I can't give you that answer. That everybody can be pissed off, be unhappy. We're pissed off. Everyone's unhappy about it. But that's not going to get us anywhere. It's to see where we are by, as I say, early evening, and we'll make a decision.
Now, obviously, that fight may not go ahead, I should say, but the rest of the card is. Just talk me through it, even though it's not the undercard press conference. Start off with Tommy Langford versus Lerone Richards.
Well, it's a cracking little fight, isn't it? Lerone's stepping up. Tommy Langford's been there, done it. He's got all the experience. Lerone, we're going to see whether he's good enough to beat him. It's a good fight for the fans.
And Sonny Edwards as well, making his return. Excited to see him back out.
I'm excited we've done a new deal with him. I love Sonny Edwards. I think he's a great little fighter. He's exciting. If confidence wins world titles, he'd have been world champion the day he signed his contract for his first fight with me. He's an excellent fighter, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of this year with him. I'm hoping he'll go from strength to strength. He certainly, I believe, has the mentality and certainly the skills to fight and maybe win a world title.
What are your plans and your vision for Sonny for the rest of this year, if not further, looking at those world titles?
To keep stepping him up and put him in bigger, more meaningful and better fights, and get him to get him where he wants to be, which is to achieve his dreams and his ambition to win a world title. That's my job, to make sure that happens.
Jack Catterall also on the card as well. He's waiting to see what will happen with the WBO, obviously being number 1 there, waiting for Maurice Hooker. What type of opponent have you got coming in with him on Saturday night?
Well, he's basically with a great. He's going to have he's got a decent opponent, but it's unfortunate position. He's got like a marking time fight. We could sit around waiting for the Hooker fight, but I want to at least give him some rounds, get some rounds under his belt. That's what he's got, and hopefully he'll come through. I'm quite sure he will do. But the name of the game is that when he gets to the Hooker fight, he's going to be ready, able for that one. Hooker, as we all know, struggled to make the weight last time out. I don't know what's going to happen there, but sometime in the autumn, that fight will be ordered by the WBO, and I think Jack will be there and well equipped to take that challenge.
And obviously, we're now here for the announcement of Joe Joyce joining yourself and Queensborough Promotions. Just talking about the deal and how the opportunity came back to work with each other.
Yeah, well, Richard Schaefer is his promoter. He's based in America. Richie, he's a good friend, and we talked about it for quite a while, along with Sam, his manager, and also Adam Morley, his lawyer. We had quite lengthy conversations, and we all wanted to work together. It was working a way to make it happen, and now we've made it happen. So he'll be fighting on the undercard of Bill's fight in Stevenage on the 18th of May, when Bill challenges for the WBO interim, or maybe the full title with a bit of luck. And then he comes through that, we'll be looking to make some even more meaningful fights for him.
What type of opponent are you looking at for Joe on that card?
We're looking at a couple of good names, and we'll work on that and come back to you.
Just also considering as well the Daniel Dubois, Joe Joyce thing, which was the terms have been agreed. The British Boxing Board of Control released yesterday. What was the latest on that, if anything? Can you release?
Well, as you said, it's been agreed. The release I see said it's been agreed. There's a spanner in the works with what's happened with our man at the moment with Daniel. So we'll see what happens with that. And there'll be a press conference next week with Daniel, with Nathan Gorman, and with Joe Joyce.
What about the Ajit Kabayal fight? Obviously, Joe being the EBU mandatory challenger to that. Is that a fight you guys are considering?
Absolutely, it's a fight for him, and it'd be one. Obviously, it would be silly for him to not take up. He's in a very good position at the moment to challenge for a world title. That European thing would be another great belt for him to win, and if he gets that basically, I think he's ranked number 2 at the moment, isn't he, by one of the organisations? It'll make it even better for him.
And finally, last week we heard the news that Jarrell Miller's failed drug test. What were your thoughts on the whole situation?
Jarrell Miller's, he's let himself down badly. He's let boxing down. He's let everyone back down. Fans from Britain, I'm sure there's a few fans were flying out from Britain to see AJ fight him. It's terrible that he's done that, and it's terrible what's happening in this sport. It's continually happening, and something's got to be done to stop it. And it's not just, obviously he's taken them, and he's got to pay the penalty for that, and he will do, and it should be severe. It should be severe for all boxers that do that. More importantly, though, it's who sold the things to him, or who got them for him, and who was aware that he was taking them. That's what you want to. You want to really stop this in the sport. Find out who's supplying them and who knows about it, if indeed anybody does know, within the camps.
What would you like to see be done to people who are caught out taking performance-enhancing drugs?
It's just becoming prevalent at the moment. I've been involved with a few fighters over the years that have taken them, and they've paid the price and so forth. But really, it should be just zero tolerance. That's what it needs to be now. And it needs to, and as I say, I don't think the majority of fighters just say, I'm going to take this substance because it's going to enhance my performance. Somebody must be aware that they're taking it. They're getting it from somebody, and if their trainers are unaware of it, then they obviously haven't. You got to start looking at things like, how are these guys getting this stuff? Somebody's giving it to them, and it's wrong.
My final question: having looked over social media, a lot of people are suggesting the names that have been mentioned to step in with AJ. They've turned down the fights such as Luis Ortiz, Adam Kaunaki, because they might be caught mid-cycle. Do you think that could be a possibility? Well,
I can understand why people. It could be a possibility. I don't know, and I can understand why people think that now, because obviously it's so prevalent. I know that. I was reading somewhere 5 of the top 10 heavyweights have been.
I haven't seen that one.
I read it somewhere. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it's true, that's not good. That means 50% of them are caught. I don't know how many of them are getting away with it, but 50% of them are caught. But the fact of the matter is, they've turned it down. They've either turned it down for financial reasons. I've got no idea. Not for me to make that match. The problem they've got, the opposition that they're putting the fight on in Madison Square Gardens, and the Americans will expect an American opponent.
Well, Frank Warren, I appreciate your time. Thank you once again for speaking to Boxing Social.
It's a pleasure every time, that.
Cheers.